Howdy.
Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm getting ready to mute YouTube over on my other screen here, so that I don't get wicked echo. Hey y'all, we're just winding up here, so
Well, everybody getting set up. So
apparently getting here 15 minutes in advance isn't enough time anymore. There's too many microphones and cameras to fix. Well, hopefully everybody's doing okay. Hey, Michael. Yeah, Rick. Yeah, Rick. Remember him? He couldn't make it tonight either. He was on call, so you have to put up with us again.
Yeah, I can stay for like an hour and a half. I emailed Rick, but I guess he's not checking. No, I got my daughter's coming to the house for dinner because my birthday's. She's gonna be out of town.
We'll send flowers. Okay, we got Michael. Gary's here. Hey, Gary.
What's up, Gary? What's up, Gary? All right, I think I got it shared to my audience.
We got Robert out here.
I invited a bunch of people.
The crowd is building. Well, hopefully everybody's doing okay. Oh, look, wow, we're hitting with the questions here already. Long Array 5 need help.
if Longer put the firmware back up on their site, you can download it from their site, but for a long time it was not there.
Yeah, you had to put it on a USB stick or something, right? Manually. I was talking to somebody else who was having trouble with a longer, not Array 5, a V1 recently for the same kind of reason, trying to update the firmware. Apparently, Daniel is truly the Viking tonight.
Yeah, I like the hat. How much does that thing weigh?
It's a tinfoil hat. One of my members, I met one of my members from Maryland. She came down. Her father used to live right behind my neighborhood, and we had lunch Sunday, and she gave me the hat along with some Purple Heart stuff, some cool stuff.
Maybe. What else we got here? Johnny, see you on the road. Oh yeah, we already talked to him. Oh yes, the firmware problem. Yeah, is there a compelling reason to update it? Like, is there a bug you wanted to get fixed? Because I don't know. I generally don't update the firmware unless something isn't working.
Well, if you're on the Longer Array 5, if you're going from the 10 watt to the 20 watt and adding the limit switches, you have to upgrade the firmware.
Yes.
And as I recall, there was an instruction thing that came with the firmware package download to do it.
Yeah, I did find that actually when I was looking for someone who was having B1 troubles. I found all of that stuff on the USB that shipped with the laser, and like there's some loader you have to run. Now I can't run it because it's only in Windows, but if you have a Windows machine, you can just run the updater right off the USB stick that came with the laser. Most people, of course, lose that thing within 2 days of getting the laser, but
you're running it off a Mac?
Yeah, I run everything on a Mac. I actually have one machine down here that isn't a Mac, and it runs a virtual machine with Windows in it, it runs my VCarve, my CNC software. That's all its sole purpose, and once a year it does my taxes. But it's a Linux machine. So let's start with you, Daniel. How's the S1? When last we saw it, it had just started to move.
Well, I really haven't turned it on yet. I got it set up. I had to build a little stand for it, and I I've actually got a sponsor from FlexiSpot, so they sent me a big table that has the remote legs on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing a video on that currently, putting that together, and then I'm going to set the laser on top of it. That way I can have remote, up and down and whatever, whatnot.
That's what I have in my desk. When I'm working, it's lower. When I'm on camera, I raise it up.
Yeah. So I got some flex pipe coming. That flex pipe they sent me that I drove y'all crazy with last week, or maybe the week before that. But yeah, it wasn't long enough, so I had to get an extension, and then I got some fans coming to help push it out. So I really haven't fired it up since then.
There you go. Yes, Daniel
Which
said
is
sponsor.
heartbreaking.
He sold out to the corporations.
Well, they're not really a sponsor. They sent me something and said, "Hey, you mind putting this together in a video?"
Yeah,
So,
I had they reached out to me a while back, and it's just I already got a desk, and
yeah.
So I gracefully declined. In retrospect, I probably would have accepted because I moved this desk from my workshop into here, and now I don't have a desk in my workshop anymore. So it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah, no, they won't be paying me, so not really a sponsor. They just sent me their stuff.
Yeah.
So more like a brand deal, I guess.
Same light as all the laser companies. Here's a free laser. Now, here's a $500 laser. Now do $1,000 worth of work.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, thanks, Stephen. Good to have you back. Junk Journal shop back. All right, feel free to shoot some questions. I'll start with a bit of news. I'll start with the small news first, which is the Genmitsu wireless control kit, which I'm going to install probably next week. And I got this. This is the big news. This is the We Create IR module, which I'll also be doing an installation video on, because I read the installation guide quickly, and it's not as simple as just turning 4 screws and pulling the laser module out and putting a new one in. This laser module actually looks, I'll pull it out here, but it looks a little fragile, we'll say, until it gets installed.
Johnny, what's up?
So module looks very much like any other We Create module, except it's got this card on the side that you have to plug a ribbon cable into, and it's one of those, just the metal end of the ribbon cable. It's not a connector. So that could be an adventure. But it does have a sighting laser, which is nice. So we'll see. Maybe I'll install that tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Looks like Junk Journal. Johnny has a question.
Sweet.
About a We Create.
He's making firewood. We've all done that. Where's the... Oh, there's the We Create question. Okay. Is there a way to tell Make It software? I think you can just type in the value, actually. It's not really going to matter anyway, because certainly 3mm setting will cut 2.7mm, and you're probably not going to engrave through 2.7mm anyway. So you can probably just use the 3mm setting.
Where would you input that information at?
So over on the side, and I'm trying to make sure I don't have it confused with XCS. Over on the right-hand side where you select the material, I think there's an option in there for setting the thickness. And I know there definitely is for XCS, you can do that, but I thought there was also one for Make It.
I actually don't remember.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's the thing, right? And it's like, I just ran it yesterday. And it's just, you get on cruise control when you're running these things. And seems to matter. Well, it shouldn't matter for the kerf, because it's only going to cut the thickness of the beam anyway. Yeah, well, just pick the 3. Oh, okay, yeah. It's like a finger joint, right? I'm pretty sure there's a way to set it. I'll take a look, and if I figure it out, I'll ask that question again next week, and I'll see if I can remember.
To get the proper one, and it's expensive. It's an acrylic, but it's the optics are designed for the blue laser. It's not just plain orange acrylic, and they do have it on Amazon, but it is expensive.
Yeah, what makes it expensive is it may well be the same as the orange stuff you can buy yourself, but it's been certified, and that makes a big difference. It's like I've used the orange stuff before and it works quite well, but who knows, right? Like I don't see any visible light or much visible light coming through the glass. So, but again, it hasn't had somebody put a spectrometer on the other side of a laser beam going through it to make sure that it's being filtered. Oh, I didn't even know the IR laser was available on their site yet. But cool. Now it's interesting. The thing that I'm worried about is it's not gonna. It doesn't look like it's trivial to get the thing connected, and if you got to keep moving that connector on that thin little board, that's gonna break. So I'm a little worried about that. So if you want to switch back and forth. I'm not too convinced that that's not going to be a problem.
Now those little ribbon cables are not real durable like that. I work on a lot of inkjet printers that have those, and you do it a few times, and the ribbon cable's pretty much shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Creality 3D printer sitting on the floor over there waiting for parts because the ribbon cable. I actually smacked it on the corner of a bench and ripped the display off the front of it, and it's just held on there with a flimsy little connector, one of those flat cable connectors, like the Mylar cables, and yeah, it was pretty fragile. So.
Oh, I went to the School of Hard Knocks. That's probably how all of us learned.
Yeah, you make somebody. So somebody else just reported that they're making firewood. Make some of that, and then you'll learn how a laser works. The most obvious way to get started is pick a material, work with that material for a while, like 3mm plywood, and do some material tests on it. Do a cut test and a engraving test, and that'll tell you what the settings are, and then you can just kind of go from there. Start small. Yeah, the X-Tool IR head. I've got one of those kicking around somewhere for a D1 Pro. But I haven't. My D1 Pro is hanging on the wall. It's legitimately a wall hanger right now. Mostly for lack of space, because it's got the extension rails on it, and it's too big now. Yeah, everybody sells these portable, these little foldable enclosures. They work all right, and they're flame proof, and usually anyway.
Yeah, Comgro's got a good one. Porter has a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, who else did I see? The Icure one is pretty nice too, except it's got a wicked loud fan in it.
What is the Acmer?
It's just
glitter fart.
They pick some interesting names in Chinese companies.
Well, I've got the IR for my longer Array 5, and it's a very, very easy swap on that one.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's
Steve,
what I was kind of hoping for with the WeCreate, that they'd put some kind of adapter in there that gave you that quick swap capability. Because on a Ray 5, you can change it to an IR module in about 2 seconds. It takes, you unplug the cable, plug it into the IR module, and one screw holds the whole thing on. So yeah, I will no doubt say lots of things about how easy it is to swap back and forth from one laser module to another. We'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be hard, but I don't know until I actually take it out of the box and put it into a laser.
I slowed down. So how do I set the power on my X-Tool program?
You pick a material. So on the if you're running XCS2, you can manually enter it. Like over on the right-hand side, there's a power. You have to click the setting. There's a material settings button. So you can pick a material, and you can get one out of their library if you're using something reasonably standard. But you can then adjust away from those standard settings if you want.
I heard that a lot of people do that. They adjust away from it because they're not.
Yeah, I found their acrylic settings to be minimalist, we'll say. Like they just barely get through. And so I tend to amp up the power a bit on them, 10% or something.
I got you.
Because
and where can
otherwise you may or may not get through, and then you're breaking, especially acrylic. If you flex it when it's not cut, it'll break.
Is there what's the best site or whatever you want to call it to get files?
Oh, there's lots of them.
And what kind of files should I be getting? Like
well, that's an interesting question.
I mean, I'll be doing mostly cutting wood and like engraving wood.
So somebody who does what you do, you can start with like boxes.py and learn how to make a box. And somewhere
what's it called, boss?
Boxes.py. It's basically a box designer.
Huh.
And so you type in a bunch of parameters like your material thickness, and it only makes finger joints. And you basically say, here's how many fingers I want and then you pick the height and length and all that stuff. You can pick whether it's the inside measurements or outside measurements. And then you click the go button and it magically generates all the parts for a box. It works really well, actually. The first time it'll take you a while, but usually I have one of those things kicking around here. Yeah, it makes, if you're going to design a box and try and laser cut it, it is the way to go, because it's the ultimate lazy way to design one.
Yeah.
And you can do boxes with like inserts, like slots in them, and the slots can be different sizes, and it's quite powerful.
Yeah. So what about like, you know how they have like the layered, I guess, layered pieces, like, how do you explain it? There's like different layers that they cut out of the piece at one time, and then it stacks on itself.
Yeah, you can. A good place to get those kind of files is on designbundles.net.
Yes. I've seen other places too. I'm trying to think where. See, yeah, it's not my normal use case. Normally, if I'm unless I'm doing something for a video and I just want to grab something quick, I build my own stuff usually. So
cool.
But then you have to learn how to use things like Fusion 360 or some drawing program. You can use Lightburn, but if you're using If you're using a X-tool laser, then you're going to want to do all that stuff in XCS probably. Glitter farts back with just the profound words, topology map. Are you looking to build a topology map? Because they're actually pretty, if you have a CNC, they're pretty easy. You can't do a topology map with a laser, unless you're doing the multi-layered thing. And I've done some of those too, but those ones tend not to be too available. Not for free anyway.
Now, I see lots of people using lasers to cut out acrylic templates. Is there a specific reason why you would do an acrylic template versus, something like in quarter plywood?
It's more durable. I don't know. You can't generally cut acrylic with a diode laser anyway, so you're going to have to use like 1/4-inch plywood or something.
I was thinking of that. One of those things where if you use like cardboard, you could even after you cut it out with laser, you could do some manual shaping to work around.
Yeah, you can use plywood. It's just not as durable as acrylic, right? If you're putting a bearing bit on the edge of it, acrylic will last forever.
Who's gone wild?
Yeah, he's doing something there. Yeah, if you take the elevation lines, you can create a layer for each elevation. You can get, I think Google Maps or what's the other one? There's some mapping tools I think that will allow you to extract just an entire layer at an altitude. He gave up the hose, so now he's making his printer or his laser beep. No, it's not geese tonight. It's just Daniel playing with his laser.
I've seen him try to do topology maps in Florida, and it's all just flat.
Yeah, anytime I want to make a top map, I generally just CNC it. It looks so much nicer, but you got to use what you have, I guess. I've made laser topographical maps, and they work. I'm trying to think of which one of the mapping tools I used that lets you extract out individual layers.
New firmware version found.
Yep.
Update.
Well, of course.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So what's that camera that Rick was talking about where it follows you around?
Oh, I don't know. What's it called? Insta360, is that it?
Oh, yeah, the AI-driven ones?
Yeah.
Is that just something that connects to your phone and then or you put your phone on and it turns?
No, it's independent camera.
Oh,
I think it'll just record. You can probably Bluetooth it over to your phone. I don't know.
There are some gimbals. There are some gimbals you can put your phone on if they're a good enough one, you can set it up. It'll follow you.
Yeah, DJI makes some.
The 360s have a number of built-in cameras, so they have like overlapping fields of view, and you can program it so when it follows a topic that it just uses the 360 camera to shift the frame to follow you as you move around the room.
So my drone has a setting where it'll follow me around, but I can't fly it here.
What?
You're not allowed?
Yeah, I have a drone that will, the camera will follow me.
Well, why can't you fly?
I live 2 miles from a major airport. It's
Ah,
a no fly zone here. I can't even fly at 6 feet off the ground. It's absolutely forbidden in this area here. There's a designation for it. Something. Don't do it. Period. So I have to go out in the country with it.
I have a small airport about a mile away, and we still fly. Well, we don't, but my neighbor has one, and he's flying it all the time, pissing me off. Comes over my yard. I'm like, "What are you doing, bro? I'm like, get out of here."
It might be time for you to get into falconry.
Oh yeah.
Have you used the OMTech laser, Roger? This is the CO2, I assume.
No. My CO2 is a Monport.
Yeah, it's. I haven't either. Is there an issue?
So under material, it says distance,
Yeah.
and then it has that little target.
Yeah. So you can hit that little target, and it'll go off and focus itself. Put some material on
And then it says automatic distance measurement can't be performed from this area.
Yeah. What's that? I've run into that. Just manually move the laser head out into the center of the.
Oh yeah. There you go. That's a good idea.
And you can stick it over your material, so when the little stick comes down and it touches the material. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't used OMTech's dual head CO2 laser.
What'd I do?
The little silver focusing stick probably went through the grill rather than hitting the material. So you'll probably have to put it back onto the side of the laser module.
I can say I've done that before.
Yeah, I do that at least once a week, sometimes once a day. Hey, ball.
Reset it.
He's gotta.
It's a robot.
There you
That's
go.
so cool.
Sounds like it's working now. There you go. See, you'll find lots of support online for your S1. Yeah, lots of people have those.
I just made a sale. Sorry. My phone just went cha-ching. Did y'all hear that?
I didn't, but
I love that noise. Sorry.
You can engrave black acrylic. You can't. The important thing is you can't cut anything with an IR laser, not a 2-watt one anyway. So you're going to engrave stainless steel, black acrylic are the two big ones. What else can you do?
It will do wood, but it takes forever.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Forever.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to engrave something onto a ring, yeah, you can do that if you have a rotary.
You should be able to do that in an hour or so.
To install. Yeah,
That's so cool.
the extension rails on the D1 Pro were pretty. It was a pretty elaborate thing. It took a couple hours to get that put together. But the longer Rave 5 is really, it's like, 2 screws in each end of a rail. It's pretty quick.
I better plug in my air assist.
Now, when I did the extensions on my Ray 5, I went to the full 850 millimeter square, and that took me about 3-4 hours to do because you're basically rebuilding the laser.
Yeah, that was the D1 problem. You basically tear it down into nuts and bolts, and then rebuild it.
Fuck.
Cat's happy for your sale, Daniel.
Aha. Thank you, Cat.
Yeah. You got some. These things always look like ice cream cones to me, but I guess they're those. I don't know what they are.
I broke my damn thing.
What thing?
My
Hey, Andy.
this thing. Son of a bitch, man.
You can let us know where you're calling from too, when you're putting things in the chat there. Just the first time. Like to see where people are around the world. Building serving trays.
We're about to fire it up.
I had at my last market, I had a local vendor who does laser engraving came up to me and asked if I can provide him, bulk product of like shot trays made out of barrel wood. We wanted it unfinished, just drive the holes and give it basic shaping, and then he was going to take them and customize it laser-wise for whoever he was reselling
to. I mentioned I did these plates or dishes, I guess. I actually did the engraving on this one the other day and put a logo on the back. The worked out quite nicely, actually. I have to show a bunch of woodworkers in a woodworker guild what they can use a laser for. So.
That's actually pretty easy.
Oh, look at it go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, thanks, Glitter Fart. We always can use new members. Wow. He's awesome. He's my hero. Thanks.
Me?
No, you're not my hero. You didn't gift me with 5 memberships. Oh yes, these are always interesting questions. The biggest bed.
X tool is a little bit bigger than the weak rate bed, and I'm not familiar with the Lasermatic.
Yeah, so the Lasermatic is in the 400 by 400 range, 410 or 420 millimeters. It's square, so the X tool, if you're talking about the S1, it's I don't know, it's like 12 by slightly less than 24. I think it's 17 or 18 inches in the long direction. The We Create is about the same. So hey, he did it.
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be Hello World.
We'll get a. He's not a techie guy. He's not a developer. Oh, and then we lost him. He's so excited he disappeared. Oh, there he is. There you came back.
Y'all lost me?
You just blacked out for a second.
Oh man.
So if you're talking, so I guess the question is, which one can you make bigger? And the answer is none of these. Who am I getting an echo back from? Move my microphone further away. So yeah, it's a question of, do you need expandability, I guess? Because things like the X tool, you can get the riser and you can put a roller in it and go longer. We Create has actually got that now. Lasermatic, I think, is a solid bottom, so I don't think you can even take the bottom out of it. I'm not sure. Somebody who has a Lasermatic can answer that.
I highly recommend the X tool.
They're pretty drama-free.
That was so easy.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm about to tear it up.
There's no
There'll be
stopping.
laser engraved Vikings everywhere.
Little coasters with Vikings on
Yeah, there's no end now. You're gonna have
Where's
to make
Rick?
bigger coasters to hold all your hair, though.
it.
This end up.
Well, we're getting a big echo from somebody here.
Yeah. Let me just start muting people to find out where it's coming from. I think it's Daniel.
Well, I know it's not me, 'cause I've got headphones on.
Yeah. Hello, hello. No, it's Daniel. Yeah, well. I moved my microphone further away and
Hold on.
on fire.
It's always Daniel.
Oops. These controllers have Yes. Yeah, that's what the little thumb screws on the side of the laser module will do. And a lot of them will have a little flip down leg that you can put down to the material and it will give you the right focus.
Is that a little
Some
better?
will have just a little thing that goes underneath the module.
Is that better?
No.
No, you're still echoing?
Yeah, still getting it.
Let me try and mute you again for a second. Well, let's see. No, it's definitely coming back from Daniel's world. There you go.
How's that?
That seems better. Yeah.
Yep, that took the echo away.
Okay. Cool.
You're going to have to start attending this when you're not in your own personal concert hall there. It's like a big room. It echoes.
Sorry about that.
Audio is the hardest thing to fix, man.
I just did my first laser on the extra.
You had the Elegoo, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Sure, the folks at Elegoo will be happy to hear that.
Oh, yeah, the hell with them. I did my job.
I like the X2LS1. I mean, it's the one diode laser that's always in my shop.
Yeah, it's a good laser. Like, and I don't know much about them, but I like it. That's literally the second time I hit the power button.
Yeah, now you know if you had two of those with XCS2, you could run them both at the same time, so you could do two different jobs.
What? I want the P1, man, but they didn't think I was famous enough. Or the P2, rather.
Yeah, I like the P2 as well. I mean, even as just a CO2 laser, I really like. I have my big laser, which is 24 by 36 inches, and I use it for a lot of big stuff. But I really tossed around the idea of keeping the P2 and replacing it. But I do too many big things that the P2 couldn't handle. So
Wow.
it's too bad. But I really liked it. Actually, it's a really nice laser.
You send it my way, you know.
The shipping, the thing weighs 100 pounds, right? Like, it's heavy.
Wow.
I had to call a buddy over to help me lift it off the floor onto my workbench, and then take it back down again.
Damn it.
I'll bring that up. Rick, if you're watching this stream, note this message.
Yeah, where is Rick?
He's on call. He's like an electrician guy, right? So he's on call, and because there's some storms apparently coming to his area.
I was gonna say maybe it was his live stream last night. He's too tired.
Yeah, he's he missed last week too.
Yeah,
we're soon gonna have to dock his pay.
Yep. I'll take his cut.
Yeah, one thing I don't miss is
so you can have twice zero. That's it.
I don't miss being on call. I don't miss those days at all. I get calls.
Oh my God,
at 2
yeah,
or 3
that was
in
the
the
worst.
morning.
I missed the money, but
Yeah, the the benefit of being a software and hardware engineer was I never had to be on call for anything ever. It's like,
Wow.
it's 5 o'clock on a Friday. See you Monday. Like,
So I worked for a water restoration company or a disaster company, like Disaster Plus, but for years. I made good money with the on-call stuff and the time and a half, but once you got over like a certain amount of hours, they'd pay you double. But golly, I was never home. But the money was good.
Speaking of, I will be unavailable next week as well.
oh no.
I'll be in
That's unacceptable.
Tallahassee, which is very unacceptable.
Yeah, I've been through Tallahassee.
Be careful, bro. I hope you're packing.
Getting in and getting out as quickly as possible. But
Bring the heater.
Wow. I didn't think this was possible. Must be a consultant.
I've never seen a consultant on duty after hours.
Yeah, he needs to find a new job. Let me talk to him. I'll hook him up.
Is he web dev? I mean, I can see that for like business or point of sale.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Like, I mean, I did some high reliability stuff, and there was always, once things got into service, if there was ever a software problem or a hardware problem, somebody had to be available, but it was never me. I managed to worm my way out. Part of the advantage of being a boss is you can assign that to somebody else.
Well, my daughter just pulled up.
So you're out of here?
Yeah, I gotta go eat dinner with her.
I was
I don't know
getting
where I'm
ready.
going.
I was getting ready to watch you make a cabinet with your S1 tonight.
I know, man. I was ready too. She's probably just taking me for ice cream, so that's right up the road. If it's like a 20-minute trip, I'll jump back on.
Sure.
Cool, man.
But
Thanks, guys.
it is ice cream, so you can't say no to that.
Hell no. She's gonna be gone on my birthday, so I'm taking you out. So can't say no.
All right. Enjoy your ice cream. Yeah, lots of people. I couldn't be anybody in the medical profession. Man, those people are heroes, but they're on call crazy amounts of time.
My wife's a RN. She's on, she does evenings 4 to 5 nights a week.
That would kill me.
That's what my wife used to do when I get back from a call. Well, how'd it go? What'd you do? And I tell her it's okay. Absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked in a few places where I had like top secret security clearance, and you really can't talk about what you do, right? Oh, I type code. That's my job. Can't say what it is. Yeah. This applies to, so my wife does a lot of she used to do a lot of legal stuff. Now she does a lot running a bunch of working groups, and she tries to tell me stories about things, and it's like, yeah, I don't get what you do. Like, it's just you herd cats, basically, is what I hear every time she tells me something, and it's like, yeah, I can't deal with that. Yeah, there we go. Here. We should all appreciate the medical profession. All right, we got to have some questions. Who's got a question they're dying to ask? We lost Daniel, of course, so we can't talk about woodwork. Okay, we can't say this. It is. She works in the tech field, so most of the people she works with are male software engineers to some degree, and they're much like me. So she has the same frustrations with them that she has with me. Yeah. Conrad can answer woodworking questions tonight. Is there a laser machine that would? An X-Tool F1, but it's not 1 foot by 1 foot. It's about 6 inches by 6 inches. And you can run it with a fume extractor, and it works really well, actually. Yep. Halos all around. No, the F1. It's looks like a little toaster or something, a little microwave. Yep, F1. Yeah, there's also the laser pecker. And it's they have a laser that's basically a head-to-head competitor with the F1 now.
My Facebook feed is filled with those.
What's that?
My Facebook feed is filled with laser pecker and S1.
Yeah, well, that's because you're hanging with us now.
I said the
Facebook
word.
knows all and sees all. Oh yeah, me too. Especially for ice cream. How do you? Oh, park your car on it.
Don't buy it from Lowe's.
What I do is I cut my plywood into 16-inch squares, then I stack it and put a concrete block on top of it till I'm ready to use it.
Yeah, it's $2,000 Canadian. That's about $50 in the US though. So. Yeah, they generally warp. But if you keep them stored under weight, they'll stay flat enough long enough for you to laser engrave them. They might bend after, but yeah, I've used heat on them too. Oh no, well, okay. I've used heat to flatten plywood. This is an answer to a different question. Yeah, this is the 1 foot by 1 foot laser question, right? Yeah, the branding iron. This is, I assume, you want to burn logos or something into things that you're making.
Instead of like a little laser pecker.
Yeah, any diode laser will work. I used a diode laser on the back of this. This was a Creality Falcon 2. Actually, I was going to ask people a question. If people have tried offset fill, because I've seen now 2 lasers that don't do offset fill properly. The Creality Falcon 2 and the Longer B1 40 watt. When you try and do offset fill, you get some really strange results.
So I use offset fill a lot, but I've never tried it with a 40-watt head.
Yeah, so if you look at on my logo, you can see like the pie slice there on the back is filled in. It wasn't filled in when I started. Same with the P over here. sorry, it's all backwards to me here, but the P here is the top part of the P is filled in. That's just a standard letter. It's not like, I don't know why it filled it in. And all I did was to fix it was I turned off offset fill. But yeah, I've seen, but like the S1 works, the 2 trees somebody mentions here, glitter fart. Yeah, I've used it on the 2 trees, and it works. But I've only seen it on a couple of lasers, and I don't know. I mean, it's obviously got to be a bug in Lightburn, but why it's reacting to specific lasers, I don't know. Yeah, I've used X tools. They work great. So yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery. And I mean, like half the letters missing sometimes, or it all gets filled in. Somebody actually sent me, they did a cutout of a dragon, and they used offset fill, and it created this really bizarre pattern around. So the dragon was there. It was like a raised engrave. So all the material around the dragon was engraved out of the way, and he used offset fill, and it looked amazing actually the way it worked out, but it just was not what offset fill was expected to do. So yeah, it's a bizarre problem. Yeah, this could be it too, right? It could be an issue with the software, with the firmware in the controller. Except the firmware in the controller doesn't have any comprehension that it's doing an offset fill. It's just going to places based on lines. So I don't know. It's just some bizarre thing. And I've seen it on, like I said, 2 lasers right now. And it's almost prompted me to go and have a look at a few other lasers and try it, because I don't normally use offset fill. I don't like the output of it generally. It's faster though. But on most lasers, it seems to work fine. All right, what else is happening? What'd you guys do this week? I have done almost nothing. Well, I've done a lot of things, but accomplished nothing. Let's say that.
I've done a lot of things, but I had nothing to do with the shop. We were talking a little bit before we went on. We have greenhouses and a nursery business here, and this is spring, and that's a busy time.
Yeah, but you'll be bored in the winter, right? By fall. Then you'll be producing a new video every day.
Yeah, I was at a couple of markets talking more products.
Yeah.
Had a pretty good weekend. Not huge, but it was a good one.
Yeah, I can't get into the whole market concept. I know lots of people sell that way. It's just, I don't have the attention span it takes to go sit somewhere for a weekend. And it would mean I'd have to make volume, and I don't like making things in volume.
I'm innately lazy, so you give me an opportunity to sit in place for a couple hours, I'm in.
See, I can't. I don't even sit. I don't even sit and watch television all that often. I have on my screen over on this side, I have always television running there, but I don't generally watch it. It's just making noise when I'm in my studio trying to get something done. Trying to, yeah. Oh man, I feel sorry for anyone who has to work evenings or nights. My circadian rhythm is already messed up enough. I don't need to stay up all night. So yeah, I did a video on these making these dishes. It goes live tonight actually. So, well, midnight, which in Australia is probably like 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but or yesterday morning. I don't know which way the clock goes, but so, and I made all of the files are available. So,
and the welcome sign video that I did, the files for that I got from one of them free file down. It was like on Facebook or something, and that had been up for about 2 years. And then all of a sudden, I get a copyright hit from the guy that said he owns a copyright on it, and all this and that. So I had to take the file down off of the video, but whether or not it's really his or he's could be just full of crap for all I know. But I didn't want to deal with it, so it's out there. If you hunt for it, you can find it. Still a free download. Just can't get it off of my video.
Yeah, that's one of the things I worry about. Like you're the only one I've actually heard that has a significant number of copyright strikes. I've had some go the other way. YouTube has told me that people are using my content. But in general, I create everything, certainly anything I sell, I'm creating myself. But, use AI, do whatever, right, to generate images. I'm actually going to do a video on the Kittle AI generation. They've improved it quite a bit over the last little while. So it does some neat things. And basically, I don't have to go to Google Images for anything anymore. Because I can't be bothered with a copyright strike. So, hey, getting a sneak peek. Yeah, there you go. At least you're using your work time for something useful. You can ask us questions if you wish. There you go. You're getting some credit for the welcome sign. I make too many signs. Yeah, that's the sentiment I'd have too. If you're going to put it somewhere for upload and free download, you really don't have a leg to stand on from a copyright perspective. Like, you're not distributing the file, you're just telling people where to get it, right? So
yeah, so like I say, it's there. You just have to go find the link yourself now.
Yeah, that'd be one of those times when you could say, hey, I'm just helping you out here, right? So like there wouldn't be a legal leg to stand on with that, because you just pointed at their site. You're just promoting them, basically. I mean, it would be potentially different if you downloaded it and re-uploaded it to your own location, then you're distributing. But I don't know, you should have told them to take a hike.
I pretty much did, but I just don't want the hassle.
Yeah, well, there wouldn't be much hassle there. But
I was
did
actually-
the download come with a license agreement, like a terms of use?
No, it was just one of them free laser file
Well,
sites. You can download all kinds of stuff from it.
yeah.
That's where I
there's
found
no
it.
legal leg to stand on unless there's a license there, right? And bearing that, there has to be a copyright designation on it.
Yeah, I do purchase designs from like design bundles that I use on things we sell, but I don't redistribute the files.
Yeah.
That's just strictly, especially with tumblers and coasters, I use a lot of their designs.
I would actually be surprised if that's actually a real person. I expect everything like that to just be bot trolls that are just scanning posts and making fake posts.
Does the ATF put a disclaimer on all the images they're tracking? How do you know?
I think it's what they're making the ATF is concerned with.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want my dog to get shot either.
Lightburn.
Yeah, go direct to Lightburn.
Yeah, don't go through a third party.
The advantage of going direct is generally the price is probably cheaper anyway, but you'll get notifications when your license is up for renewal, because Lightburn has an annual license. The renewal is not the same price as the first time. It's like $20 or something, $25 a year. But you won't find out if you're not on Lightburn's mailing list. There you go. NSA tracks everything. I did some work with somebody at NSA for a while. At least they said they were from NSA, but you never really know. Yeah, design bundles are definitely helpful.
I get a lot of graphics there.
Yeah, like I said, I've taken to just generating a lot of them, but sometimes it's hit or miss, right? AI engines aren't always going to give you what you want, and you have to wait for it to generate and then go, well, that's not what I want, and you have to do it again. So bundles are nice because you can generally look at some kind of an index and say, oh, there's the thing I want, and just go directly to it. And they're usually pretty cheap.
And I've downloaded, different designs and then taken pieces out of those and combined them into something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Derivative work. That you can get a copyright strike on too.
Well, I don't distribute it though.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. The users have spoken. Get it from Lightburn. Yeah, so when you buy a license to Lightburn, you'll get free updates for a year, and they're all maintenance releases. And you can continue using it after that, but if you want to continue to get updates, you have to update your license. So it's a pretty generous license, actually. Man, it's such a quiet crowd tonight. All right. Yeah, AI. So I did and I'm glad this is starting to improve. AI is getting better, but about a year ago, I wanted to generate an image of a cowboy riding into the sunset, and I kept the image. I should post it somewhere. When I got the result back, I got a cowboy facing the sunset. The horse was going the other direction, and he had 6 legs. It's like, okay, this is not what I want. Oh, well. There's lots of people actually who listen in here who don't have lasers. But it's a good place to find out if you what laser you should buy, because we all have opinions. Yes. Yeah, so a lot of them will say, yes, it's equivalent to the certified optically dense acrylic, and it might be, but you don't get that little sticker attached to it. And some people will definitely worry about that. For me, it's like, not to diminish safety, but the laser's pointed down and your window's at the top, and anything that hits the glass is gonna be scattered, so it's gonna already be substantially weaker. So, if you think so, what was the enclosure you put together, Roger? You said had like 100 screws.
That was the Great Carve.
Yeah. So
and
do you
it's
think
orange, and it's not, I don't think that's certified.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that's certified? I don't think so.
No, I doubt it. There's no stamps on it anywhere.
No.
I don't think it'd be anything to really worry about unless you had like the public in there looking at it where there'd be liability. I mean, it's just for your own use. You don't have any liability there.
No. Yeah, it's and I don't, like I said, I don't worry. I would worry if the entire enclosure is that material like the Great Carve one. But if you're just putting a window in the top, if you're really worried, put 2 layers in there. You're still going to be able to see through it. Yeah, Cat's headed out. See you, Cat. Well, if you want more going on, ask questions. There you go. Yeah, you got to get. Unfortunately, the worst thing about moving out of my workshop is I don't have immediate access to a bunch of stuff that I'm working on, and it drives me crazy because I'm looking where it's like, I know I have that. Where is it? When somebody asks a question. Well, being lazy is okay. I have a lot of experience being lazy, and I've never been disappointed. So I'm trying to think what else I have coming up. The We Create one, I'm definitely interested in the IR module, but there's a couple of other things. I'm still waiting for some fiber lasers to arrive. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. The Chinese have a term called lying flat, which is, if you keep it low, no one sees you. That's my mantra. Yeah. Yes, this one. And the answer is jigs. Always use jigs. So the way I did the engraving on this plate was I created a jig that this base fits into, and it just sits upright. And then I just do a frame around the edge of the bowl and get it centered properly and lock everything down. And then I can just place as many of these plates in as I need to and just hit the start button on the laser job. So yeah, always use jigs. Otherwise, you'll run into problems. Now, this particular thing it's 2-sided, so you have to flip it over. The way to do that is to use pins. So you take your material and drill some holes in the corners, put some pins in, and when you're done one side, you flip it over and put it back on the pins, and then you can do the other side, and it's going to be perfectly aligned. Like I said, I have the video for this is dropping tonight, and there's a bit of discussion on how those jigs work. Hey, Corby's back. All right. I'm not sure about his sexy fellas comment, but he must be talking about Roger and his fancy shirt.
Yeah, I got the colors going on here tonight.
Do I want to make color brass stainless steel coins? So I don't think you can color brass, not with a laser anyway. You can definitely color stainless steel with a MOPA laser. It's quite easy, but I've never seen brass done. You can do slate though. If you want to make some slate coins, you can color slate. Yeah, you can practice on stainless steel. You don't have to have it doesn't have to be a coin. You can just take a piece of stainless steel plate and engrave on it. Corby has confirmed he's talking about all of us. I think Corby needs glasses, is what I think. Yes, I don't know where you'd find slate coins, but it's the original currency of the ancient Romans or something. No, but if you're making slate coasters and you have a MOPA fiber laser, you can definitely color it. And again, material tests are your friend. They'll tell you what all the settings are to generate particular colors on stainless or slate or anything else. And then you can just keep those as a reference. And a 60-watt MOPA laser is actually what I'm waiting for. I've been waiting for weeks. So I'm envious that you have one. No. So the colors won't fade because it's actually a trick of the light, really, because it's changing the refraction angle, I guess, and it's giving you a different part of the spectrum. So like when you do stainless steel, you'll see it when you hold it at a particular angle, you'll see all these colors. And when you change the angle, sometimes you'll see different colors or less brilliant colors. Less so with a MOPA, but definitely if you do coloring with a diode laser, you can get it into the light where you don't see any color at all. And this is my gripe with laser companies selling diode lasers like that you can do color, because I think it's a bit misleading. Run a material test and like an engrave test, and you'll see that there are different power and frequencies. If you're on a fiber laser, different frequencies will generate different colors. And you can do all of those with Lightburn. You can say, do me a power versus frequency and frequency versus speed. So you can do all of those, and you'll see what you can generate. It's quite cool. There you go. That's kind of what I was thinking, actually. Yes. Takes me back. No,
not necessarily, unless it's something like the We Create. Then you have to have the camera.
Yeah, if you have the We Create, it's pretty accurate. It's within a millimeter of accuracy. But any of those cameras that you can buy for Lightburn, no, those things are accurate to maybe 5 millimeters. So,
and they're hard to keep in place and keep accurate too. I had one on one of my lasers, and I think I mentioned here a while back, I just got tired of it, took it off, sold it.
Yeah, I don't generally use one on a diode laser either. The We Create, though, you have no choice, but it's a good thing because their camera is actually really good. And yeah, you're welcome. This is kind of what we do. But yeah, jigs are like physical positioning is the way you want to go.
Yep, making a test grid. I do that on a lot, even though I know what my settings are going to be. When I switch to a new batch of material, I still do it.
Yeah, I used to have basically just a chain, and every time I cut a new material, I'd save the cut and I'd stick it on that chain. So I had like this little flip book of materials for any particular laser that I was using.
Need a Rolodex.
Yeah, it's almost like that. See, Corby, it wasn't that your YouTube crashed. They shut you down for making incorrect statements.
Blatant lies on the internet.
Yeah. When you publish a YouTube video, there's a little checkbox that says everything here is original. There's nothing misleading. You don't have a deep fake of somebody making compromising statements. Like they're getting a little more strict, which is good, I suppose. But it's taking all the fun out of it. Just as the ability to create your own contrived video is getting easier, they're making it harder to use. So. Do people really take me seriously? Like, this is terrible.
I think the first thing is you don't take Corby serious.
I almost never say anything that's serious, just so people know. BEE double run.
That means his beer is gone.
Oh.
He needs more. I got my own right here.
I never see you drink it though. Like, oh, you keep. Oh, I thought you had a straw in that bottle there for a second. Oh no, we're starting something bad. Well, you probably want to tune into my my OnlyFans channel then. That too is a joke. It's a long-running joke on this live stream. Yeah. Laser black spray. Well, you would use that typically for metal or glass if you're engraving glass. To keep in the lines.
No, I use a black lacquer on certain signs. When I do the engraving, I engrave it with tape on it. And after I engrave, I spray black lacquer on it and peel the tape off. I don't know if that's what he's referring to here or not.
Yeah, I think so. What I normally do, if it's wood, like if I make like boxes that I sometimes engrave on top, and I will generally put a couple coats of polyacrylic on them first, and then do the engraving, and then you can just paint it, just blob paint into the engraving, and then just take a white, a wet, well not wet, a damp paper towel on a block, and just swipe it across the surface, because the black paint, while it's wet, won't stick to the polyacrylic. So you can do it that way too, and then you have to be. Really, you don't have to be careful at all. You can just slop it on. I've seen sometimes if you put tape on, sometimes you'll get bleeding under the tape with the paint. And
well, I shellac first when I'm doing that.
Yeah, same thing.
Keep it from bleeding.
I'm just directed to probably the blackest wood stain I've ever came across. It's amazing how dark that stuff is.
See, I everything I say is sarcastic, so I don't understand the notion that there might be things that are or aren't sarcastic. Yes, I think YouTube is getting a little more rigorous about things. The well has gone dry.
Yeah, my last beer.
Well, you see, this is a challenge, right? This is a case of using the right laser. Like, I mean, I haven't tried this with a WeCreate Vision, but it's certainly got the camera that could do it. But when I engraved on the side of a piece of rice, I used the X-Tool P2, which I'm both impressed and shocked at the same time that it could do it, because it's a CO2, which has a beam that's, relative to a diode laser beam, is the size of a pencil. Like, it's big, yet it still managed to do it. But that has two cameras in it. It has the overhead camera that shows you the whole workspace, and then the close-up camera. And I used the close-up camera and basically zoomed in on the piece of rice and engraved it. When Clack did this, he used the F1, which has you can zoom around with a red sight, and you can run around the outline of the thing you're trying to engrave, so you get kind of the same effect. When's the ping pong show? Ping pong ball show? Oh, to engrave on ping pong balls? Yes, definitely. I'm definitely not live on OnlyFans. Sorry to disappoint. Where are we here? Yeah, you can do that too. They're hard to find though for diode lasers.
Backing up a question on the laser paint versus regular paint, it's the composition of the paint makes a difference.
Yeah, I typically use for painting into engraving on wood at least. I typically use acrylic paint. Just because it cleans up easy and it sticks to wood fairly well.
Yeah, that's true.
I've done both actually many times in the working world.
I just hate being unclear.
Yeah, it isn't really an effective reply to somebody unless they have to walk away and come back in 5 minutes and go, "Did you just tell me to F off?" What? Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, well, the shellac, I guess, or polyacrylic will burn off, but you can do the engraving first and then put polyacrylic on it. But I just tend to do it all in one shot. Well, while we're waiting for questions, how big are your greenhouses, Roger?
Well, let's see. We got two of them that are 18 by 50. And then we have two small ones that are 14 by 25. And then we have what we call the head house, which is actually it's smaller. It's 18 by 36. That's where we do all of our propagation in.
Wow.
What you growing?
And do you sell to like garden centers and stuff?
We do some. It's mostly to the general public. We do a lot of what they call plug flats, which are bulk flats of small plants people use in landscaping. We do mostly ground covers and perennials and lavender.
I guess it does if you get the right acrylic.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you get acrylic that can handle outside. Although you can put, once you get the acrylic paint down, you can paint over it with shellac or something. So Roger's trying to turn us all off now. He's like,
now I'm trying to move my camera over, one of my remote cameras.
To fire that drone.
Yep, you can do this. There's no, I mean, the only wrong way is the way that doesn't give you the result you want, right? So
there's some outdoor acrylic paint.
here's Roger's paint rack.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. So yeah, we do quite a bit of that.
I could show you my acrylic paint rack, but it's basically a bottle of one thing, black. I don't generally paint other colors. But you do all kinds of things with mugs and stuff, right? You paint on.
Yeah,
those?
we do a lot of signs, and I do a lot of color fill signs.
Yeah.
And then
if I'm doing
wife
color
has
fill, I use resin.
My wife has a lot of things she likes to do, statues and figures and stuff that she likes to have outdoors.
Yeah, the artsy people. How enviable. I can't really paint anything. So yeah, you gotta. But you said you ship everything in your greenhouse.
Yeah, everything gets shipped. We don't have a store here. We don't do anything direct.
Like ship to me in that scenario implies that you put it onto a flatbed and.
Oh, United States Postal Service and UPS.
How do you
Daily
ship
pickup from them,
plants
from
through
both
the,
of them.
through the postal service?
We have special boxes for it. We have made by a company that's local here. It's called Liberty Packaging.
But how do you keep the postal service from punting the thing into the truck and it's upside down or something?
Everything is netted. We actually, you ever go to the grocery store and buy a bag of onions in a net?
Yeah.
Everything we ship is netted. You can turn it upside down, it won't fall out.
Wow. I've
Yeah, so we've got
about the plant business today.
What kind of perennials are they?
we got a system for it.
Was there someone asked the question about the? I assume this is a question about your. Oh, this is about the outdoor paint. Okay. Yeah, you can buy it. You can buy outdoor acrylic. Again, I have black. That's my thing. Wow.
Oh, you can also ship honeybees in the post office.
This just sounds so wrong to me. Like, what if it gets delayed? Then you got a bunch of dead chicks in a box somewhere in the back of the post office.
No, don't have problems.
See, that would be my question too. It's like, how do you ship a plant and not have it dead when it gets to the other end?
Well, works just fine. If it's going from we're in Illinois, if it's going to California or Oregon or someplace like that, we usually use next day air or second day air,
Wow.
and it's fine.
So
long
this
does that
isn't a
last?
question about the chickens. This is a question about the paint.
Okay, I've not had any problems. We've got some on up at the campground with some signs I made that probably been up for 4 or 5 years that face the south, and sun's on it all the time, and they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had any problems with them, and I mean, I have winter where I am. Well, you have winter too in Illinois, but
Oh yeah,
probably you have a way worse winter than I have here. Winter where I live is sometimes snow, but mostly rain.
we get snow, and this past January went down to 30 below one night, but I was in Mexico when that happened, so it didn't affect me.
Yeah, as long as you don't come back to a house full of water because it froze the pipes.
Now it did come back to 28 inches of snow on the driveway, though. That kind of sucked.
Yeah, if it snows 20 inches here, I just have to wait till tomorrow. It's going to rain.
I live on the Iowa-Illinois border. On I'd say kind of not quite completely northern Illinois, but not southern Illinois either. It's where the hump is in Illinois and meets Iowa.
Yeah, maybe I should just put live bees on every package I ship from now on.
Well, they actually ship in a screen. I have had bees shipped to me before. I'm a beekeeper, and they come in a wooden box that's covered with screen, so everything's wide open. And it's always funny to watch the postal workers handle it just by the corners. They don't want to actually touch the box.
Yeah, my father used to have a bunch of beehives too. Then as he got older, it just got to be too much. And I do remember him having a box full of queen bees shipped in the mail.
Yep.
And it wasn't like they were wrapped in paper. They were just in a cage sitting there. It was pretty obvious.
Brand name? I can't remember I think it's called Anita's. It's made by Rust-Oleum.
Yeah.
And it's very durable.
Yeah, you're probably good for 10 years with it outside, at least.
And if you've got a Hobby Lobby by you, that's where I get mine away from to run their sales. And sometimes you can get it for $1 a bottle.
There you go. Queen bees don't sting people.
No, neither do drones. Drones don't even have stingers.
Yeah. They have minions that do the stinging for them.
Yep.
I'm not sure this is a compliment or an insult.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, we all have some phobias. I used to work in the bee yard for a summer job for a few years, and getting stung just became a whatever.
I'm used to it.
It's worth the honey.
Now, honeybee stings don't bother me. Yellow jackets, that's another story.
Yeah,
Those things are those are assholes there.
They can sting multiple times too.
Yeah.
It's just
Honeybee can only sting you once. Yellow jackets, they'll just keep right on going.
Yeah. But yeah, I did forget that we actually had some shipped in the mail.
Well, for starters, if anybody tells you they have organic honey, they're full of themselves, because there's no such thing. Because you can't tell the bee where he can go and where he can't, or she rather. You can't tell her where to go and where to not go to bring that nectar back. So you don't know where they're going. And honeybees have a range of about 2 miles. And as far as the grades, if you get a spring honey from like the nectar flow that's going on right now, it'll be a lighter color. If you get a honey that's collected in the fall from things like ragweed and goldenrod, it'll be a dark honey. It'll also crystallize real easy.
Yeah. Almost before it gets out of the bee into the hive.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever makes me good mead.
Yeah, well, we used to make mead as kids. It's like, because it was so easy. You just need some honey and a bit of water in a pail.
I probably
Sit there for a while.
Yeah, the natural yeast in there will ferment it.
Yeah.
I've got 8 or 10 different honey cultivars in my mead room.
Yeah, it can pack quite a wallop. All right, now we got everybody talking about bees. Lasers, folks, lasers, or CNC, or woodworking.
Yeah, that's true. They don't really bother you unless you actually squeeze one or kill one, or what the last thing you want to do is kill one, because they release a pheromone that alerts other bees that, hey, there's something bad here. And that pheromone gets going, all the bees will start generating it. It actually smells like bananas. So if you have a sudden banana scent and you're around bees, you better go the other way.
I would go the other way for the smell of bananas anyway. All right, what do we got? Well, technically we have half an hour. We can cut early, but now's the chance. Ask some questions if you got them. I got to try and bring some projects to this thing now. I got to remember. Wednesdays are always just so chaotic for me. Yeah, well,
Yeah. There we go. I got a whole collection.
I just felt like being on the beach today.
I have a whole collection of these shirts, and we spend a lot of time in Mexico during the wintertime. And these are not very expensive when you buy them down there.
Now, here's an interesting question. I think this depends on your use case. If you're engraving like knife blades constantly, then you're going to use the IR most of the time. But for the most part, I don't know, it's probably maybe in a typical shop, maybe 10% or 15% IR, I'd say. But I don't know what a typical shop is. If you're in the knife business, you're going to use an IR laser a lot.
The only thing I really used my IR for was to put my name on some tools.
Yep.
And mostly just to play with it, because I don't really have a good application for it otherwise.
And know when to steal your tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite a laser actually. The 70 watt. I have the 60 watt Creality Falcon 2 coming too, and it's Creality's answer to this one. This thing apparently can cut pretty substantial metal. I haven't seen it though, but I've seen people who've cut metal with it, and that's pretty impressive for a diode laser. This might be the next direction for diode lasers, is turn them into like plasma cutters.
I did not have good luck with a diode laser on epoxy.
Yeah,
Kind of like just melted it.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I actually did if you look in my YouTube shorts, I did a thing where I engraved on a piece of epoxy, and it came out okay, but you then have to fill it because the laser is not going to darken it in any way. It's just going to blow material out and be the same color as it was when you started. So there you have to, again, I used acrylic paint to fill it in. But you can engrave on epoxy. You have to be careful, and it has to be the right kind of epoxy. If it's like 5-minute epoxy, it's just going to turn back into goo when you hit it with a laser. But if it's like cutting board or charcuterie board epoxy, you can engrave that stuff. So I guess the question is, what new Creality, or what new we create? Because the only thing I know that they had coming was the IR laser module.
Well, they have that conveyor bottom.
And the conveyor. Yeah.
Yeah.
The conveyor shipping now, I think. Or May 12th, I think they ship. And the IR laser, this is the one I have, is an advanced copy. But I think they're shipping soon too. Like, they probably are going to start taking pre-orders if they haven't already.
Look, backing up there about Atom Stack and their 20-watt fiber. They haven't asked me about it. I do a lot of work with Atom Stack lasers.
Yeah, I haven't. We'll bring up that question. Yeah, I haven't talked to them a lot, actually. They keep reaching out, and it's just, I just don't have time. I want to do more project work and less review work. But they haven't approached me with that one either. I don't even know how they would do a fiber add-on to a diode laser. It's probably just a standard IR module, although it says 20 watt.
It'd be a hell of an IR module.
Yeah,
I think it'd be huge.
If it was a diode, it would, yeah. Yeah, I've seen somebody else mention this too, about setting the DTR signals. This is a serial handshaking signal on the USB. Yeah, it is DTR, but I can't remember. It's somewhere up in machine settings in Lightburn.
I guess it depends on what you want to do. Now, if you're going to want to engrave on metal, you want the IR, but otherwise, if you're just doing wood and acrylic and that kind of stuff,
yeah,
no advantage there.
Even black acrylic, you might as well just use the diode laser. You might get a little better result with an IR module, but I don't know. It's really think metal when you're talking about IR lasers. Yeah, this is what I typically use too. long cure time stuff.
How do you keep the air bubbles out of a torch?
Well, it takes 72 hours to cure, so the air bubbles have lots of time to bubble up to the surface. And yeah, you just take a heat gun or a torch and no.
No, absolutely not. CO2 for that.
Yeah. Clear acrylic, you're spending money because you can only use a CO2 laser for that with reliability. I mean, you can kind of fake it with a diode laser by applying paint and all kinds of black things, but it's just you can't cut it.
No, won't cut it at all.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can cut black acrylic, and that's pretty much it with a diode laser. And really, yeah, if you want, there's lots of CO2 lasers out there. Some vary from, a few $100 to, they tend to be smaller workspaces up to thousands. I built my own because I didn't want to pay $10,000 to buy one that was equivalent. But if I was buying one today, I'd probably buy the X-Tool P2. Just because it's so easy to use relative to other things.
No, I haven't even seen the setup for it, so I have no idea.
Well, let me do some offline Googling here. Oh, is it the M4? Must be the M4. No, that's a diode laser. No, it's IR. I don't see anything that looks like a fiber laser. There's people calling the M4 a fiber laser, but I don't believe it. Gonna have to have a look. Maybe they do have a fiber laser now. Is that it? Yeah, it's got to be this M4. But that's been out for a long time, actually, the M4, a year ago. So it's not new. I do know that there is another fiber laser coming out soon. That's a combination fiber diode laser. And that one should be interesting. Oh, the MR20. Yeah, that's a fiber laser.
So what's the price tag on that one?
Don't know. Let me see. Well, these are Canadian prices, so it's like Well, here I can go to Adam Stack's site directly. I think. Looks like it's I don't know, in the US it's probably $1,500 maybe. It's 1,400 euros in Europe, which just happens to be the site I got to. So it's not super cheap, but it's not real expensive either. That's I mean, if it's a fiber laser and a diode laser, that's a pretty decent price. There you go. Don't sell yourself out. It's not worth it. Yes, there is the temptation to have new toys, but the problem is they flood you with stuff and everything they want you to review. They want you to review it and have a video done yesterday. So it's a double-edged sword. Reasonable laser. Well, get a 20 watt at least, regardless.
Yeah, and it could be like a Ray 5.
Yeah.
Porter makes their LM3, the H10.
Yeah, the Ray 5 is actually a great laser to start with. It's open frame, so you're going to want to build an enclosure, but and they're I won't say dirt cheap, but they're much cheaper than most lasers.
And they're reliable because I have one and I've used the hell out of it. And it just keeps right on trucking along.
And what do you think about an X-Tool D1 Pro? I keep seeing them in my local marketplace.
I've got 2 of those actually. One I put the extension kit on, and the other one's still the stock size.
Yeah, mine has the extensions. Mine's a 40 watt though.
1200 sound good?
Well, like a used one. You could probably do better than that, but it's not out of the realm. Like it's. Yeah, I like the Sculpfun S30.
I have the A30. I like the A30 Pro.
Yeah, they had, I don't know why they called all of their lasers very similar things, but because it isn't always the 30 doesn't designate the power necessarily, right? So
No.
So they have an A30 and an S30, and I don't really see what the difference is between them.
Now, if you get into the P series on Atom Stack, that's they're like a little portable thing that I had one and I gave it to my grandson, so him to play with.
Again, I have visions of your grandson being like this 3-year-old running around with a laser.
No, he's 16.
That may be worse, actually.
He makes a lot of things for he's a real active Boy Scouts. And he does a lot of things for his scout troop.
Well, he should be responsible if he's a Boy Scout. So he's not going to run around some shopping mall parking lot and engrave things on the side of people's cars with
Oh, no, there's a whole bunch of them right behind me here.
Yeah, Roger's the collector of Ender 3s.
Yeah, I've got they're right behind me. There's 1, 2, there's 4 of them behind me, and 3 more in another room up here. So yeah, they're all quiet tonight because it makes too much noise in the background. But
yeah, you don't want us to scold you. 3D images inside the cubes. That's I think those are UV lasers. They're outrageously expensive. So you have to have a good business model if you're going to get one of those.
Next one here is LM2. That's a good laser, 10 watt. I used to have one.
Yeah, I had one of those. It's getting pretty dated though. That one's been around for a few years.
That's back when you had to invent your own air assist.
Yeah. But they were reliable too. I never had any trouble with mine. The Ortur made some kind of not so good lasers though too. They made the a Pharaoh. That was not a great laser.
No, I was not fond of that either. That got passed along to another relative.
Yeah, the P20. So
got one of those.
Yeah, I had one of these. I moved it out of in IBM business terms. We used to say move things out of the business. I moved it out of the business. Yeah, they're great lasers. The company maybe not as good as some, but the lasers are definitely solid. And it can do it can do offset fill quite nicely. Yeah, there you go. They're all aquarium pumps, really.
Yeah, actually, Paw-Fly makes a real good one for that. That's what I started out with. Now a lot of mine are use a shop air.
Breathing pump. Does this imply that there's somebody gasping for air in your house? It's like, how come my pump's not working? Yeah, basically anything that moves air. You can put an air flow regulator on a compressor and use a compressor.
Just make sure you use an air dryer. You don't want any moisture coming through there.
Yeah, and probably an oil catcher too, because compressors tend to be a bit oily, the air coming out of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty true statement there.
Yeah, I assume this means that you have to buy one every week. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's not even necessarily a new laser. Like you buy a laser and then the next week that same laser is available with, the newest laser module on it. It used to be 30 watts, now it's 32 watts or something, right? It gets a little frustrating. Yeah, marketing is definitely the enemy of the people when it comes to lasers. Yeah, there you go. There's all devices in one line right there, except for Eric. I'm sure he's a good guy, but yeah, there you go. Geniuses think alike. Well, should we wind down? We technically have 7 minutes, so if there's any last minute questions, we can answer, or we can shut down a couple minutes early. And we got to do some projects, Roger.
Yeah, I've got to get busy here with videos. I actually agreed to do a review on a security camera because it was solar powered. And the ones I have up here now, I have to remember to charge them every 3 months. So I thought they were going to send me one. They sent me a whole set of 4.
Sweet.
With a central base unit. So I'm going to be playing with that. I'm going to do a review on that because I got to put them up. And then I won't have to charge these other ones all the time and get the ladder out.
Yeah, that's a little out of my wheelhouse. At least for my channel, anyway.
Well, I normally wouldn't, but couldn't pass that up.
So, hottest selling laser projects. That is such a regional question. and depends where you're selling. If you're doing like Conrad and you're going to weekend sales, you'll sell something completely different than if you're just doing custom work or something.
My big thing are signs that are made out of cedar, and for outdoors, porch signs and stupid little signs. And let me see if I can put one of them up here.
Maryland,
things like that.
You are so late.
We do a lot of that stuff.
That's those are fence boards.
Yep,
pickets?
cedar fence pickets.
Yeah.
And I usually go to the local Menards here and buy 30 or 40 of them after I go through the pile, and then stack them up in the shop here with stickers so they'll dry, because they are not dry at all when you get them.
Cheap, good CO2 to do images on clear acrylic.
Oh, the Monport 40.
Yeah, Monport. It depends what you mean by cheap. If you mean under $1,000, you'll appreciate that sometimes cheap and good don't go into the same sentence when you talk about CO2 lasers. But the old K40s, there's lots of those around, and they tend to have a smaller footprint. Like they're only, I don't know, what are they? Like
they're about 3 feet wide and 2 feet deep and 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah, but the work area is smaller in those. Right?
Yeah,
it only tends to be like 18 inches wide and maybe 10 or 12 inches deep. But you can get them for $600-700. Whereas if you're looking at something like I don't know what a Monport 40 costs, it's probably a couple thousand anyway. But Glowforges are like $6,000 now. Like they've just gone crazy. And the X-Tool P2 is $4,500. So yeah, you're in a bit of a different price bracket when you're buying CO2 lasers. Oh, there you go, 8x12. Yeah, I just remember them being pretty small.
and mine works fine for what I do with it. The only thing I use it for is clear acrylic.
Yeah, I use mine for a lot of stuff actually. CO2 tends to be my go-to laser just because it can do pretty much any material that I work with. But if I want to do like an image engrave, I'm going to use a diode laser because I can do grayscale. CO2s don't do grayscale very well, or at all in most cases. Yeah. It'll still be shaky as hell, though, so you won't be able to see the moon. Yeah, they went up market. Yeah, can you even put a rotary? I don't think you can put a rotary on a Glowforge. At least they don't offer one. But I know some people have hacked the bottom out of their Glowforges and put rotaries in. It is pretty low, pretty shallow. It's the nice. The laser I built has a height. It can be up to, I don't know, a couple of feet. So I can put a chest in there and engrave on the top of it if I want to. All right. Should we wind down, gentlemen? And any parting thoughts, Roger?
Oh, it's dark out. That's about it.
But it's not snowing.
No, it's not snowy. It's 56 degrees, which is not bad.
Yeah, it's not quite that warm here, but
supposed to get a frost tonight, but that's that time of year.
Yeah, I've watched a few videos on making with Marilyn's channel too. She knows things I certainly don't know. Southeast Missouri. MO is Missouri, right?
Yep.
Goes to show you how much I know. All right, let's wind her down then. And hopefully we can get Rick back next week if he's not working. And
Okay, everybody out there, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
as always, leave comments in videos if you have questions outside of this, and we'll try to answer them. No, I don't want to do bling. I have a closet full of black shirts, so. All right, take care, Conrad. Thanks for helping us out, and see you, everybody.